What's up, guys? It's Alex Torelli. Welcome back to an episode of The Hand of the Day. Excited to announce a few things here today. One is we got awesome brand new merchandise at Conscious Poker. Check this out. Beautiful hoodies with our logo on them. Tree of Life with the leaves are different spades, clubs, diamonds, hearts. Super stoked. These things are comfortable. They're badass. Got a little pocket here. These things are awesome. So we have hoodies, we have shirts, we have necklaces, all at consciouspoker.com/shop. You can check it out at the link below. If you want some awesome merchandise, check that out. Second is if you like these style of videos, you want more analysis from us, you want better insights and things that we only share with subscribers, jump on our email list. We won't spam you. We only send emails when they're super valuable and there's awesome content that can help you improve your poker game. So if you jump on our email list below, we will send you a variety of awesome content, mainly my hand reading system, which is the tools and step-by-step process I use to help improve and study poker and basically make decisions. So my blueprint for making decisions in every hand I play, I broke it down into a step-by-step hand reading system, and I'll send you that absolutely free as part of being a member at Conscious Poker. So I encourage you guys to check that out. And that's it for now. Let's get back to the hand of the day.
Hand of the day.
This hand comes from one of my readers, Gareth. He is in an interesting spot here. And let's see, we got 1-1 blinds. Under the gun folds, under the gun +1 folds, mid position makes it 6. So it's a very large open, a 6x open. But in smaller stakes cash games, that's pretty often you see that. So if you're playing something like 1-3, while the default open in a cash game will be like 2.5, 3x, you'll see like a $15 open just because that becomes the norm. So people don't always raise relative to their stack size, they just raise relative to the game flow. So 6x open in smaller stakes games is pretty normal to see. I wouldn't necessarily take that to mean this guy definitely has a monster. It's not like, oh my gosh, he has to have the nuts because he opened 6x or his range is super narrow or whatever. I would just say he's probably opening a standard range of hands, just shows a bigger size. Folds around to cutoff, folds, button folds. Now we're in the small blind with ace queen of spades, and we have a decision here. We could 3-bet this spot, or we can just call. And I think here if we 3-bet, it puts us in a tough spot if we get 4-bet, because we have too strong of a hand to fold, but we're not really loving this spot. So against a 6x open, I'm okay just calling here. If he was shallower, like 70 big blinds, I would just 3-bet and get it in. Not really worry too much about it. But a lot of the decision I'm going to make here in real time ultimately is going to be exploitative. I mean, I'm talking about what to do from a game theory standpoint, but what I actually do in real time in a small stakes live cash game is just going to be depending on what I think about my opponent. Is he really tight? Is he the type of player that is never going to get it in without an absolute monster, or he doesn't open that often? Then maybe I'm just going to flat here and play defense. Is he super aggro and loose and he's going to 4-bet regardless and just play like a maniac, or call any 3-bet and just be in there with a lot of worse hands and I could just play my ace queen straight up for value? Then I'm probably going to 3-bet. Another last consideration I like to make, which is a little bit next level, is what do I know about the big blind? And is the opener smart enough to adjust his opening strategy based on who's in the big blind? So if the big blind's a mondo fish, like, absolute whale, and I might just call because I'm more likely to play the hand with him. Whereas if the big blind's like a great player, I might be more worried about the mid-position opener having a good hand if he's observant, because he's less likely to open when a great player's in the big blind. So those are the things I would consider when debating what to do here with ace queen. That said, I'm okay with the call, which is what the hero does, and the big blind calls as well. We go 3 ways to the flop. Flop's ace-10 4 rainbow. We check, totally standard, big blind checks, and mid-position bets 10. It's on us. So here, I think we could opt for a few things. We can opt to check raise here and try and get it in. If, again, depending on what we know about our opponent, check raising could be a good play. He could be the type of player that's not going to fold a pair here, just not going to give us credit. A lot depends on our image and his image. Otherwise, check calling is a totally fine option. Just planning on check calling down the entire way in this hand. Ace queen being one of the better hands that we can have here, pretty much aside from ace 10 and pocket 10s, is the best hand we can have. So I would be planning on check calling with ace queen here and just check calling my way down. That said, we decide to check raise here. We make it 35, which is a little bit on the bigger side. I think if we're going to go for a check raise, given the stack to pot ratio, given our opponent's stack size, I'd go for something like 27 here. I think that allows us to have more bluffs, and it allows us to play more post-flop on subsequent streets. We make it 35. The big blind now overcalls, and the other original better folds. Turn comes at offsuit 3, and here I think we have a clear check. Our stack to pot ratio is about 2. And I think that the big blind's overcalling range is stronger than ours. We also don't really know where we're at in the hand, and if we bet again here, we're going to narrow his range in such a way that he's pretty much only going to call with better hands most of the time if he's a good player. So if we're betting the turn, first of all, to overcall the flop, he has to have at least an ace. At least probably a pretty strong ace as well. I don't think he would overcall the flop here with something like ace 5. I think he's probably just going to fold that. So when he overcalls the flop here, he definitely could have pocket 4s, ace 4, ace 10, pocket 10s. He could have us beat. He could also have something like a similar hand like ace jack, ace queen. Those are pretty much the only hands I would put him on. I wouldn't really put him on something like ace 8 unless he's just a station and he's going to call here more often than he should. So because of that, I would check here. I would also check to him because his range looks stronger than our range, and it's a good spot to check, not just with our hand, but with our entire range. There's also another reason to check here, which could come into play depending on your opponent, and that is he capable of overcalling on a float, trying to rep a hand and make a crazy creative play? Like, maybe you would want to check here and let him take a stab at the pot, planning on check calling. So I think checking here is the clear play for many reasons. We ended up betting 130, which I don't really understand. If we're going to bet, I would go with like a $40 bet, trying to maybe get value from a worse ace. If we thought he was really capable of calling twice with a worse ace. But I don't really understand 130. And I don't really understand betting here. I don't think we can justify betting 3 streets here, given the way this hand went down, unless we're against just a crazy maniac type of player. So a lot of these situations that are more esoteric are player dependent, but 130 into 98 is a really tough sell for me. It's really hard to believe he's going to call with a worse hand. We're almost bluffing here for this bet size if we're playing against a good player. So I don't really understand 130. As played though, we bet 130. The big blind now calls, and here we're pretty much committed to the pot. He has 90 left, the pot's 360. He has 1/4 of the pot left. We only need 20% equity here. We really can't fold at this point. I mean, even though we kind of have to fold, we can't fold. But when the river comes an ace, we certainly aren't folding. I guess at this point, we're just hoping he has a worse ace. And if we're going to bet this turn, because we're assuming that he can have a worse ace often enough, then certainly we're not going to go anywhere on this river. We're going to pile it in regardless of what the river is, even though it was an ace. That helps us, of course. It makes it less likely he has us beat. We're just going to pile it in here. But regardless of what this river is, if I'm going to play the hand this way on the turn, because of the fact my opponent's just a monster whale and he's going to call, I'm just going to shove any river and hope to get paid off by like ace 5 or whatever I put him on for betting the turn. So this river is a pretty easy play. We go all in and hoping the big blind calls with a worse hand. That is actually what happened. We go all in with ace queen and the big blind calls and mucks. So clearly the hero in the hand must have known something that we didn't about the big blind because of the way he played this hand. But I think this is a little bit aggressive. You have to have a pretty particular read on the big blind here to justify playing the hand this way. I hope you like this video. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you like this, you want to see more awesome content. Lastly, check out the link below if you want more awesome content from us. If you like these hand of the day videos and you want to take your game to the next level, you're looking for that next step along your poker journey, highly consider joining our Grinder membership program. We have awesome videos like this one, but in much more depth. Twice as long, we go into a lot of the poker analysis that I don't have time to go into on my hand of the day videos, where I share with you how the pros analyze hands. I walk you through the math, I show you some things on Poker Cruncher, I show you how to study the hands and study these videos, study these situations in a lot more in-depth ways that I don't have time to go in here on YouTube. So I highly encourage you to check that out, all at the link below. Thank you guys for your support. You guys are awesome, you guys are epic, and see you guys next time on the hand of the day. Cheers.